historically, we were a solution product. So we'd get a phone call from an installer who said, right, I've got this installation and I can't put in ceiling speakers in. So I phoned you. So then it was our job as a business, like how can we make Gallo being the first port of call for these guys? Gallo doesn't want to be the kitchen sink of brands. So everything has to be really carefully thought through so we don't shoot ourselves in the foot. But the lights are exciting and there's a huge demand for that.
Really throw me off there.
And it started from a typo. I was sitting I'd driven home from work. I was sitting typing a message to somebody. And I'd misspelt Gallo Bears and it corrected bears to beer.
And you were like, no. Love that.
An epiphany.
People buy your speakers.
Careful.
There we go. There's our exclusive. Rich, do you want a 24 karat gold speaker? Mr. Worldwide. I have the face of it. Worldwide.
Is that my helicopter? Is it yours?
Oh. Hi guys, Rich from Art Smart. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Now I'm actually joined at our office today by a man who needs no introduction. He's the one and only Colin Urie from Gallo Acoustics. So unless you've been hiding under a rock for the last couple of years and watched Gallo's absolute explosion on social media, then obviously you know who this guy is. Gallo are one of the brands that we've used a lot as a business, not just because of the speakers, not just because of the little Gallo bears, but just purely because of how they are on social. They're just very much in connection with me. So, Col, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you, Rich. Great to be here. Thank you.
No, thanks. So, yeah, like I say, we obviously use the speakers a lot.
Yep.
First come across you on social media.
I think back in 2018, probably.
Probably, yeah. About 4 years ago now. And then, just over the last couple of years, I've watched you guys. I'll say it, Colin, you're a very modest guy. Lead the way in terms of, especially in the manufacturer space. There's not many people doing it how you're doing it.
Thank you very much. It's been great, and we've learned. It's the same as you. You learn so much from your peers in the industry and who you follow, and you guys have been an influence for us as well. So it's been thank you. It means a lot.
You're too kind. And we'll come on to how the kind of social stuff works in a bit. Yeah. But first, we're obviously here to talk about the products. So we'll go through a couple of different ranges and a couple of bits that you do. So predominantly Gallo make speakers. Well, they do make speakers, but they're a unique speaker. So why don't you tell me a little bit about what makes you guys special?
Yeah, so we are a range of spherical speakers. So you see across our socials, typical installation will include two different sizes. We have a 4-inch sphere, we have a 5-inch sphere, that's a micro and the Adiva, and then we have other models in the range. And it dates back to these spheres have been in production for best part of 25 years. And we took over the helm about 6 years ago. And for the right kind of installation, and we work pretty hard on coming up with solutions that work for all kind of room installations. No,
I mean, although you said there, the 4 and 5-inch spheres.
Yeah.
Now, please do not be put off by the size. And this is one occasion where the size does not matter. I mean, I've just given Colin a demo downstairs in our cinema room, and that gives what people traditionally think of as cinema speakers a run for its money. I think even you would blow away.
It was incredible. Typically, I'm listening to our products on an exhibition stand. It's the worst possible environment to actually sit in a proper acoustically treated room. It's great. I was texting my office saying, you just need to come and hear this. Yeah,
it's different. But because of the design of the speakers, they're predominantly used in, I'd say, more unique situations. So that's where we will look at using it. So because of things in some properties such as beams, we've got a great cinema installation in Northampton. And that is, again, I'll come on to this because this is one of the other things that makes them so unique, is the colours. So I was just about to say, it's a bronze speaker. Now, you have a standard range?
Yep.
Run me through the standard range?
Yeah, so we have a standard range of about 11 colours, and we've added a range of 4 lux, the kind of metallic finishes, metal plated finishes onto that recently.
Trend.
Yeah, and that's been great for us. But yeah, historically, we were a solution product. So we'd get a phone call from an installer who said, right, I've got this installation and I can't put in ceiling speakers in. So I phoned you. Well, thanks very much. But so then it was our job as a business, like how can we make Gallo being the first port of call for these guys? Because so realistically, you're doing a house of 10 rooms. And probably you'll have in ceiling speakers in 7 of those rooms, but you've got 3 rooms where you want to make a bit more of a splash, make it more interesting. So it's our job to not just be the solution guys. We want to be in the front of your mind when you're looking at a kitchen or a kitchen island or, like you say, a nice barn conversion. So that's because you're not selling. We're not trying to persuade you to not put in a ceiling speaker in, put Gallo in instead. It's our job to come up with much more interesting reasons to choose Gallo for a job that you're proud of. Basically.
Absolutely. Yeah. And again, especially with the Lux finishes or even some of the standard range are great. And outside of that, you'll do anything. Like you can completely custom it.
Yes.
Like, and when I say completely custom it, there is no, I'm sure there is some limits, but they're pretty infinite.
Yeah, the customization has been great. So we were approached a few times by customers looking to match Faro and Ball paint finishes or Pantone colors. So around probably 4 years, funny that the last few years have disappeared, probably about 3.5, 4 years ago, we started making complete custom colors available. And that's now a really important part of the business. And it might be, as an installer, you might be in speaking to a client and talking through all the ranges, and they might end up just buying a white speaker because that'd be the most common. But as a talking point, and it's become a really big part of the business. So worldwide, we're shipping RAL, Pantone, Faro and Ball, paint brands you've never heard of around the world, and we will match that, and we'll turn it around in 14 days. And for us, it's just more interesting. Social media, obviously, more interesting to see something custom. And we then added customized grills to that as well, and customized mountings, so you have a complete custom product for clients.
Literally completely custom. So it's not, you can put anything on the grill. I mean, granted, usually you would do it. It's a standard color, should you say, or like a color, but literally as a little bit of a surprise, you even did us. Everyone knows we love our Vector. You've done us one, and we've got it in the room in a minute. But we've got a branded Vector on there, so literally you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Now, you said about speakers there's been a few times with the products. So let's do the first traditional scenario where we couldn't put ceiling speakers in.
Yeah.
You'll remember this job, which is for the interior designer in Cheshire, that one.
Yes.
That job. And you said to me, because this is when you were just dabbling with the Lux finishes, you were just coming onto them, and you was like, Rich, do you want a 24 karat gold speaker?
Yeah, it was the first 24 karat job for us.
Yeah.
And it was just the perfect time. It was a kind of alchemy of your brand and our brand getting together at the beginning, a load of followers watching what we're doing.
The socials.
Yeah. And it went, and we thought if we can just put 24 karat gold onto this dark beam, and people still talk about it today.
Literally. And we even use it in training slides and stuff with product. That shot gets used a lot.
Yeah.
Now, our client unfortunately said no at first, and she said, I just want to put black ones on, because she had black everything in the house. So they put the black ones on. She saw the black ones up, and then she went, do you know what, Rich? The gold ones would actually look really good.
Yeah.
Typically, of course she did. So we did them. We put those in, and I think you even sent out, much to other installers' dismay, 100 pack of Gallo bears.
That's right.
You literally sent me. I jokingly said, "There's a few of us on site, Colin. Send an outer.
Keep them fueled."
And you literally did send an outer of Gallo bears. We had them dropping out of van door pockets for months.
It was just an appreciation of what we were able to do. So this idea of doing something that hadn't been done before in the industry. You don't see many 24 karat, and it's not really 24 karat bling. It works really well in the right environment.
I'm sure lads, when they do, we'll add it onto here, a picture of it. But it just looks so classy.
Yeah.
It's not in your face. It looks great. And then we come on to the manor house that we did.
Yes.
Now that was that was a job where, for you, is kind of exactly what you're aiming towards.
Yes.
Whereas, yes, there was rooms we could have used ceiling speakers. I think one room had ceiling speakers, but there's 14 zones of audio in that house, and every single room was Gallo.
That's right. And most of them were custom.
Everyone was custom. I think there was a couple of bronzes on the beams.
Yeah. We had
custom. There was white in the kitchen.
Yeah.
We had Faro and Ball in there.
Yeah.
We had even the subs. Now, the entrance hall to this manor house is like unreal, and it's got a 2.1 system in the hallway, as you do. And we'd used the Nix scanner.
That's right.
Scan the woodwork.
First time I'd seen the Nix scanner.
Yeah. Scan the woodwork, and we'd matched as close as it did on that particular shade of the wood to it. So we had 2.1 in there. We had a 5.1 in the living room. and then 2.1 in about 6 or 7 other rooms, I think.
Yeah, that's the perfect job, because some clients will want a contrasting speaker as a standout. People will come to us as a design product, and others will just want the speaker to disappear as well as it can into the corner. So at that point, you're then matching the mount, you're matching the speaker grill as well, just to completely blend it in. And for us, it's all about the perfect solution for the client. And it's fun. It's much, as you can imagine, it's much more fun shipping something unique than it is shipping a stock product. Yeah.
And you can even tell you're talking about it, but that's the stuff you get a kick out of.
Yeah.
And I think the thing for me for Gallo, and it's same as a lot of the businesses we work with, but you really stand out on it is, and I can tell it's like not just with us, it's to everybody, but you get a kick out of the whole client journey. You know, people actually enjoying, and you've built like a nice hype around the speakers as well, you know, where you've made it cool to fit Gallos. You know, you've made it very on trend.
Yeah, because we're not selling. You'll never see a trade offer of buy one get one free. It's our job, or my job in the business, to get as many images of the speakers in as many different circumstances and colors and yachts or house, whatever it would be, in front of the installers as often as possible, so that they will then remember us when a job comes up. And it applies, and obviously you can apply that internationally. So it's nice to be in a position where every time someone phones us up looking for something interesting like the Manor House or the 24 karat gold, for me, that's just an opportunity to take a really interesting image and put it out there. And eventually, as you know better than anybody, eventually it all comes round from marketing.
Full circle.
Yeah.
And again, because we're going to cover this quite heavily on the content thing, but you more than most know about content being king. So obviously we've got the Gallo speakers. Now you mentioned wall mounts and custom mounts.
Yeah.
There's also the droplet versions. We're actually using those for the Atmos channels in the cinema room.
Yes.
Again, completely custom, because you again surprised me with those, and laser etched our logo into them.
Laser etch worked really well. That was a lockdown. That was some lockdown fun. Learning about laser etching. We introduced the droplets about 4 years ago now, and that's been great for us. The number of we hadn't done it with Atmos in mind. Atmos was becoming better known at that point. We thought about it for kitchen islands and
of course,
dining room tables and stuff. So the droplet's been great. So any of the models, any of the colors, because the majority of these are built at our HQ up in Scotland. We can make any of these as a droplet or a wall mount.
So that over the kitchen island, because usually you have a couple of pendants on the island. So then you were supplementing that with a couple of speakers.
Yep. Which
but that
that wasn't enough.
You've been the guy that you are, and having obviously created. We went one further than that, didn't we?
Yeah.
And there's been something in the works.
Yeah. So we were continuously being asked during lockdown in particular, because you could focus a bit more. Can you recommend some lights that will look at least spherical, at least to match the speakers? So we were spending our life digging up websites for Italian brands and Danish brands and sending links over for products that had been discontinued. It became really stressful. So we thought, actually, all we need to do is make our own light product. So we launched a very soft launch. We worked on a collaboration with a Scottish lighting brand called Stone Lighting. And these guys make extremely high-end, beautiful, bespoke lighting products for customers all around the world. And we approached them with a challenge, and we created the first Gallo droplet light, which will become, I was telling some of your guys earlier, that will become part of a range for us. So it's interesting because we're a speaker brand, but we're now a brand in the industry that can be trusted to produce the best quality of what we do. So the Gallo, we've now had 2 runs of the Gallo light, all sold out, and literally before the podcast started, we started again, with more coming through from the production run, and there's an interest there. But again, we have to be careful with what we're doing. We don't want to be. Gallo doesn't want to be the kitchen sink of brands, so everything has to be really carefully thought through, so we don't shoot ourselves in the foot. But the lights are exciting, and there's a huge demand for that from the clients worldwide as well. So watch this space for a range that we'll have all this year of lighting options.
More coming.
Yeah, and also if you think about the bespoke, so we've done the hard work in getting our bespoke options, the color matching all up and running. You can suddenly just apply that to lights. So I'm expecting jobs that we'll be working with where there'll be no speakers in the house, but they'll have a range of Faro and Ball or RAL coloured lights, all from us. And you can't really get these at the moment. I've searched high and low, and it's something different.
And that kind of brings back, again, things coming back full circle, because you've gone to the level of setting up the customization service, and that's working great. I mean, you probably didn't think 2-3 years ago that you'd be doing lights and it'd become a side
No.
amp. But again, like you said there, because I didn't even think of projects that didn't have the speakers in.
Yeah.
It could become its own entity.
Yeah. Oh, it feels like it's just the start of something for us, and it's how we then put it out as a brand, Gallo Acoustics. So we have to work out how we present this. But at the moment, we have a network of dealers all around the world. We have a network of distributors who keep those dealers going outside of the UK. So all we're doing is dropping what we do already into that market, but as a light or a lighting range. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. After the we've done a soft launch over the last few months, but now with a bit of momentum, it's really starting to take off.
Happy days. Probably because of all your glossy, super sexy content.
The photographs, yeah.
You mentioned it a few times, so I think it's worthwhile covering. International.
Yeah.
So you're not just operating in Scotland or the UK.
Yeah.
You're doing bits. And I mean, I obviously know that. I just love seeing your Instagram story where you're like, oh, another country added.
Yeah.
Another country added. Another one ticked off the list.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, as a marketeer yourself, every opportunity of a new client in an interesting place or an interesting property in another country, for me, the guy that's posting everything still on Instagram, that's a gift come true. So yeah, we have around 45 country distributors, exclusive country distributors who buy from Gallo HQ, and they then supply a network of dealers in their countries. The UK we supply directly, so there's no distribution in the UK. It's Gallo to the installer, and also in America, it's Gallo. America and Canada, we're also shipping directly. So if a customer in New York orders on a Thursday, an installer orders on a Thursday, they get it on Friday, and it's shipped from Lanark to the US. It's amazing. So we have around probably 1,000 installers, and I mean 1,000 installers is just a number. It depends how often they all order. You get the whole 80-20 rule and stuff. But being able to ship next day to New York, and West Coast is 2 to 3 days. So then they can start ordering custom colors for their US clients in the knowledge that they're getting these things really quickly. And again, just building up the relationship with them.
Yeah, and I know they do, because I see, again, coming back onto the social thing, but because we've got followers and it's literally mental, literally all over the world.
Yeah.
Like people from all over the world follow us. And it always blows my mind when there's a guy in Jamaica that's doing rainbow spaghetti because he follows us on Instagram.
Yeah. And we've had it from those feeds.
So yeah, even there's we've got a guy that follows out in Arizona called Jesse.
Yeah.
And then you've gone and done all the stuff with him. You've done custom. I've seen you've done custom. You did him do his team's colours or something.
He did a restaurant, a chicken place in Arizona. Yeah. So he found you back in whatever 2018, and he came on. He then found Gallo from your post, probably the 24 karat gold post that we talked about, and Jesse then came on as a client. But this crazy situation where you've got the Scottish speaker company, the smart home company in Yorkshire, and this guy in Arizona finds us. It's great.
And that's the thing I just love about socials is it just not just unlocks doors, but you're the same as me. It's just that whole kind of where that everything connects together and things just then work, and it's
as long as everybody understands, there's an etiquette. Everybody, we benefit from your socials. Hopefully, you benefit from our socials, and everybody's playing the game together. And it's a relatively small industry, you know. So we know I'll go to an exhibition in probably a good example, our distributor for Benelux, who are also Control 4's distributor for Benelux, and I'll speak to these dealers at their showroom, and they'll talk about a post that Artist Smart put up 2 days before with some Gallo in it. It's just great seeing that little community round and round worldwide.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. So before I get too deep on the socials, there's one other product of yours that I want to talk about, because it is, not just saying it because you sat here, it is genuinely one of my favourite products in the AV game, which is, of course, your Profile Sub.
Yeah. Profile Sub has been great for us. Again, you're developing a new product and you make round speakers, so you've got to be really, really careful as to what you do from a kind of family of products. But there was a demand for a subwoofer that could just disappear into the corner of a room. So we developed Profile Sub about 4 years ago, and it's been great. And as I've said to you before, probably, we have customers who will buy subwoofers when there's not even any Gallo speakers going into an install.
We do it all the time. So if there's even one of our popular things is actually we've got in here, we've got it in here, is try it soundbar or a soundbar with a sub, little 2.1, but the customer wants a soundbar solution, and that just works. Just perfect, or lounges, or kitchen spaces. The
Yes.
thing is, because the design on this product is design led.
Yes. Yeah.
Obviously, the audio needs to be good quality audio,
Yeah.
and it is. Like, even when we had that in the cinema room downstairs, that thing kicks.
Yeah.
It's for a small unit.
Well, we just our demonstration. Even I just asked Rich, what subwoofers are we listening to? No, it is only one of the profile sub. It's such a great room. I felt like there was extra bass support, but it was just a profile sub. So yeah, it's been great. And then customizing the subwoofer. So we're having our subwoofers customized to match speaker colors. Again,
custom grills, custom covers. It's
a lot of fun, but it's for the client to have something completely bespoke is great for us.
Yeah. No, and again, we've got them in the Manor House. A few other places use custom finishes, and they're just effortless.
Yeah.
But to be fair, create. Of course, as a manufacturer, you're trying to create good products. You're trying to create great products, and sometimes, like you said downstairs, like when you did the profile sub, you nailed it.
Yeah, and nailed it sooner than we expected. That you get luck and you get lack of luck. That was just something that worked straight away for us. The form factor worked, the design worked, and performance straight away. Yeah, it was good.
Well, that brings its own problems.
Yes, which I'd forgotten about till earlier.
Yeah,
we managed to go on.
So in our cinema room, we've got a branded sub in there at the minute, which is supposed to be up here on the branded wall. And we was actually supposed to have a black one on there, looking nice and sexy.
Yeah,
because you're doing two standard colours, black and white, and they both come with black grills and grey grills.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You know, it's the detail. The detail.
Yeah, it is the detail. So they're just ready to go. But again, obviously custom stuff. So yeah, we were supposed to have a black sub in there.
Yeah.
But there was a time where for love or for money, a lot of money, any money, Colin, I'll pay you anything. I just need that. Mate, I
couldn't get one if my life depended on it. It was interesting because we'd had through lockdown. There's still the hangover from lockdown now, and people not being able to get supply. I think it was the only product we actually ran out of stock of, and there was a 6 or 7 week window where we didn't have any of the. It was maybe less than that actually, but it was right at the point you guys needed the black one. So it was a victim of its own success. Then lockdown hit, and all the delays. It became a farce in the end. The goods are ready, but they can't ship because the ports closed down because of COVID, and then you've got the driver issues over a lack of drivers in the UK. So it was basically a shipment of goods from point of production to point of delivery where you could everything that could go wrong went wrong. And I think, as I say, I think it was the only product we ran out of stock of, and we haven't before and we haven't since. But yeah, I'd completely forgotten. I think I'd blocked it out as a COVID nightmare
thing. But how did you find covering with the rest of the stuff?
There was a bit of luck and a bit of good stock control by everybody in the office. So we didn't know what was going to happen. So there was a week, so pretty much 2 years ago this week, where everything shut down and everything went. I mean, you and I were speaking about it at the time, and everything went dead for like 10 days. I'm completely silent, and really quite terrifying. But you're also worried about health, and you really don't know what's happening. And then just boom, it was back on. And as you've experienced the growth that you guys have experienced during lockdown, we've experienced ridiculous growth over the 2 years, the two kind of COVID years.
I think. Obviously, I know it's in different industries differently,
so
I'll never like to gloat too much. But for our sector, I don't think our industry has ever been busier.
No, it was incredible for our industry. And as you say, we're lucky we weren't trying to sell restaurant tables or hamburgers at the time. And it focused people's mind on their homes, and people like the clients that you're selling to and we're selling to, the amount of money they would spend on a holiday in a year is significant. And if that suddenly gets channeled into home technology, we all benefited from that. It'll be interesting to see what happens now. Will it slow down now? As an industry on the whole, you can't really tell from our businesses, particularly as long as we continue to grow as we are. But it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next kind of 12 months, whether that trajectory can continue or whether it'll peter out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, what we tend to, I think you will get a little bit of a dull, but I think the people that have done well and have good products or good services are just going to continue on the same trajectory. And because they say, don't the richer get richer and the poor get poorer, but there has been throughout the COVID a bit of a wealth transfer.
Yes.
And successful people are they're more successful now than they ever have been. And because of like rising price increases, like say maybe 2 years ago, it'd be harder for us to close, say, 150 grand job.
Yeah.
Whereas like now, like, yeah, 150 grand, yeah, no worries.
It's incredible.
And it's changed.
Yeah.
Things have changed.
Yeah, we've continued to grow through it up until this point, and you don't know what's going to happen. But as long as we can continue that, but also one of the big advantages was for us was in the early days the big companies and I say competitors, but other big brands in the industry who manufacture speakers. This could be the UK or could be stateside. They were furloughing all their staff, so we had this opportunity. There was this huge gap. I would look at the Instagram accounts of some of the biggest brands in the world from March 2020, and there was no post going out. So us as this relatively small business, we just jumped in, took over socials, and we doubled down. So we were already doing a significant amount of work on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn, but we just doubled that down. And even now, that's still paying dividends. Which is you're either all in or you were camming it down. So we were it was the right thing to do with hindsight.
Oh, we were very much all in.
Yes.
But yeah, the social stuff, and like you say there, you've seen an opportunity. Other businesses have gone quiet.
Yeah.
You are just hammering the socials.
Yeah.
And you are, I would say you guys are relentless.
Yes. Because it's very much like Art Smart. You're fighting for people's concentration. People are just the amount of content that people are being bombarded with. So people get uncomfortable by putting out too many posts in a week. But in reality, if you've got 10,000 followers, how many of those 10,000 are seeing one individual post? You have to be at the front of their radar. So we have a monthly mailer that goes out to all of our installers, and again, that's just as passive as social media. That's just here's some pretty speakers in a really nice installation. That's it. There's no price. There's no talk about anything, and it's the same as social media. Just get it in front of people's eyes, so that when you or one of your teams out specifying a job, if they've seen a Gallo post the night before, or they've seen a picture of our light, then suddenly they can start considering the light, and it's a really slow passive. And then once we bring that installer on, if it's a new installer or a new country, once we bring them on, if we give them the experience that we aim for, the best possible service in the industry, then we've got them forever. And then Gallo becomes a core product for them. So it's very passive and very slow.
So obviously part of the thing with you being prolific on Instagram and getting tagged, apart from obviously because the speakers are brilliant, is you're clever. You've got a very clever, so clever I copied it, marketing trick.
I'm sure we copied it from somebody else.
Yeah. No, but like people send sweets out sometimes with orders, or somebody might get a pack of Haribos.
Yeah.
You took it up a notch.
Yeah, and I can't take full credit for this. So David, our CEO, I said to him, I want to start putting some Haribo into I love it because there's a cycling company I use and I get the stuff through. He says you can't just use Haribo. We need to do something that has to be ours. So cue the Gallo Bears.
Gallo Bears. So you've got your own little bears.
Yeah, and the Gallo. So we
own brandy. Like it's not just. I'm not just talking. Like throws a pack of Haribo bears in. You have your own packaging.
Yes, we So we took the Haribo gummy bear, I think they're golden bears, and we produced our own little Gallo Bears. So I think we're on season 3 or 4 of the Gallo Bears. And
it's like I know from doing similar self, you don't just go buy 50 packets. How many thousand do you buy in a time now?
It's like 5,000 packets, but now they're coming post Brexit from Germany. It's horrififically expensive, but it's become a core piece of what we're doing. The minute we don't include bears, and like when we run out of the Gallo Bears,
I've seen this hell on. People buy your people buy your speakers.
Careful.
People buy your speakers for 50p pack of sweets. They don't give a shit about it. They just want the Gallo Bears.
A £200 packet of sweets and you get a free speaker.
Yeah.
When we first ran out of the Gallo Bears, I literally was taking screenshots and saving them on emails. So that
so you've done your order, you made on your order, you've done your shipping, and then you're reshipping a pack of sweets.
Yeah, but when the sweets came back into stock, we were just shipping boxes of sweets and across Europe as well, because that's what we did.
But again, even that, to then not make money, but to cut into your margins, to make sure somebody gets a pack of sweets, to make sure that they're included in it, that they're brought into it, you know.
Yeah.
And I know that time, I'm sure not everybody gets an outer, but when we got an outer from that time, I think I've literally probably still got some in my drawer downstairs.
Yeah.
So done the Gallo Bears, right? They were great. you took it up a notch. And again, the way you took it up a notch, you included other people in.
Yes.
Now let's just do what they do on a podcast and do a little bit of a non-related ad.
Like
Most podcasts
QVC.
do this, and they've just got a bottle of Huels just sat there, and then none of them are drinking it. So this is Spheric Ale.
Yeah.
Wow. Because you've got spherical speakers.
Yep.
And it's an ale. Oh, these are Gallo beers, by the way.
Yeah, which actually...
Gallo beer.
And it started from a typo. I was sitting I'd driven home from work. I was sitting typing a message to somebody.
No.
And I'd misspelt Gallo Bears, and it corrected bears to beer.
And you're like,
No.
Love that.
An epiphany. Cue the Gallo Beers.
Yeah.
So we contacted, again, the beers have been so successful. How can you, again, it's got to be something different.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you shake it up? And we're doing exhibitions. We're seeing people in the flesh.
oh, like these on your exhibition stand, and you've got your own branded beers. You know, everyone's got Peronis or Becks or whatever.
Yeah.
And you've got, and again, they'll come to see you on your stand
100%.
just to have a beer, just to Instagram it.
Yeah, again, we're giving them to our competitors. We're giving them to our customers. It just became this industry wide thing. The Gallo beer. So we contacted a few breweries and told them what we wanted to do. This one is 71 Brewing up in Dundee, and they've been great. So this is the first, and we ran a naming competition. So we got hundreds of entries. Hundreds during lockdown. People had more time on their hands, and we asked people to name the Gallo beer, and Spheric Ale came back. Two different people come up with Spheric Ale. So we had to credit them both, and they're both credited on the can.
Yeah, literally. And again, little things like this, just show everything about you and Gallo, because it's not just like, oh, cheers, thanks for that.
Yeah.
It's every single can
community.
you've credited on them.
Yeah.
And Ports, Christian, is actually based in York as well.
Yes.
So there's blocks on.
Yep. It's Christian and a guy called Philip.
Philip Rose.
Even got
their Instagram handles on there as well.
Yeah, and that's his personal Instagram, because he's not an installer in our industry. So this is the first season. Second season will be out. I think we'll have samples next week of Spheric Ale number 2.
Be a hard life.
I've
got to deal with the samples.
It's social media gold, though.
Yeah.
Doing a tasting in the office. So yeah, that's our next product is actually the next beer. There you go.
That's our exclusive. Top man. So, as good as Gallo's products are, as good as they are, as much as I love them, there is a whole nother layer that we've mentioned a couple of times behind the Gallo story. And it's something, being the company we are and the way we utilise them, that I have nothing but respect and admiration for, and that is your social platforms.
Thank you very much.
Take a bow. Take a bow.
That means a lot coming from what
Because
you guys do. Thank you.
I know what is involved in doing that.
Yeah.
People think it's just, you chuck a couple of posts on Instagram, and this is the thing, even like say for the guys that have maybe been on training or whatever, it's that whole lead a horse to walk, can't make it drink. We'll explain it a million times. Like I'll never mislead people with what we've done with the business. It's social media.
Yes.
There's no two ways about it.
Yeah.
Everything, even where we are now, where we'll continue to go, is literally based off Instagram mainly.
Yes. Yeah. It's not just putting up pretty pictures. Mm-hmm. You have to judge the audience. You have to steer where you're going. You have to make sure you're covering everything. You got to make sure you're supporting your customers as well, but not too much. And one, politically, you're playing a game. I don't get me wrong. I enjoy it. I quite enjoy that aspect, but it's not the easiest job in the world. It's you're properly thinking about it, and then you have to apply it across all the socials and make sure that
cross-platform posting.
Yeah,
make sure your tags are right on all the platforms.
And
it's a full-time job.
Yeah, and I see. You know yourself. It was the first couple of years when you were first getting involved in it. You've got to make sure you keep evolving, and that's a difficult thing for me. Is continuing that level of interest in that particular aspect to do it.
Yeah, if you're just putting a post out every day, and that's the thing. You do it very well, not quite as much as me. Like mine are very relaxed. We don't care about stuff being polished. Like mine is, I don't care what it is, get it out.
Yeah.
Yours, on the other hand, are polished. Sometimes I'll put a story and I'll leave a message and say, don't worry, mate, I know you're not going to, don't worry about reshare, because people get offended if you don't reshare the post. And I'm like,
you're not going to touch this one.
I know, I said, don't worry, mate, I know that's not going to make it on your socials.
The beauty, it took me a year before I started using stories. So we were putting out Instagram posts. Stories, it lets you have so much more flexibility and so much more relaxed.
People watch stories more.
Yes, I know myself, I do. Yeah.
The first thing you do when you go on that platform is you click the dots at the top.
Yes. yes.
And I suppose the main thing behind social is just being relevant.
Yes.
And how I explain it to people is, I want to be in your first dot.
Yeah.
If I am your first dot every time you go on socials,
Yeah.
we're doing it properly.
Right. Yeah. It took me a while, and I was watching you at this point. I was watching you early in the Art of Smart Story on screen yourself. And again, it's different because maybe or maybe not. We're trying to do it as a brand rather than this team of people. So it's very difficult. And then on the back of your advice, I then started my own personal one, which we'll talk about. I'm still learning about.
But you are. You post just as much on that now.
Yes, I'm posting on there, and it's all Gallo. I've got no interest in sharing stories about my personal life particularly, but it gives me an extra level of flexibility and kind of undoing the top button to show what Gallo can do. So you've got the Gallo posts, which they're either beautiful installations by the clients that we're sharing, or they are slick photography of the products. You're selling the brand like a luxury car or watch.
Showroom,
And then the stories allow us to be a bit more flexible, a bit more relaxed, and sharing stuff of people wiring up a speaker or opening a demo case. So that's been great. And then my own stuff. And then you've got things, obviously you got LinkedIn, which is different because you don't want, yourself, you don't want LinkedIn to be identical. So you have to go a bit more, not corporate, but a bit more business. The people on LinkedIn want to learn about the business, about the growth, about the percentages.
And that's it. And that's something you've nailed.
Yeah.
And understand that it's not just a case, same post, blast it across 5 platforms.
Yeah.
You have to tailor the post ever so slightly different for different platforms. And the different things work on different platforms. And there's, say, like, you've obviously got your LinkedIn business page, LinkedIn personal page. There's some posts that will go on the main Instagram grid.
Yeah.
And then you'll decide which LinkedIn page to fill it onto. And
then one will tank completely. You get 7 likes and you realize, well, actually, it was either the wrong time or I just completely misjudged it. But again, it's not. And again, I think that's what stops the world putting posts out. They're fearful of not getting the great reaction. And that's, it plays into mental health. We're talking people's personal accounts. It's a hideous worldwide problem. But for us, if you can get over the fact that post did not perform very well and you're not going to lose sleep about it, you get another chance tomorrow. That doesn't define the business.
So again, on our online training academy, we obviously go through the social stuffs a lot, but I call those vanity metrics.
Yeah.
I don't care about them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if we get 2 likes on a post, because one person that liked it might spend 50 grand with me.
Yep, absolutely. It's just the right person.
It's the same as like the followers. Like, don't get me wrong. We'll get, but we'll hit 20k over the next month or so on Instagram. Yes, it'd be nice to hit 20k because we worked very hard against it. I've been really stubborn with it. We've never bought followers. That is organic growth over the last, it'll be for 5 years old in October. So that's an organic growth. But ultimately, if we had 5,000 followers, I couldn't care less.
It's the quality. And again, it took me a while to learn that. It was all about getting the numbers up, especially in the early days, because you wanted to look credible to the industry. But for the last, and I mean, my metric was the numbers early on.
Yeah, and it becomes obsessive. So like you're doing that, and then different for Apple.
People dropping off.
You're doing all that, and then somebody unfollows you.
Yeah.
And you're like, why are they unfollowing you? Start taking things personally, and don't they like my business? Don't they like me? And then you get to a point where you just think, out.
And it's also a lack of patience. Because now that we're both at a similar level of we've been doing it for the same amount of time. Yeah. If you're impatient, then you're going to worry when you lose a single follower. What did you do wrong? I don't look at our follower account at all. I don't know. I don't really know if it's going up or down. You'll occasionally hit another 100 and realize you've done it. So it's much. A bit of patience makes it much more enjoyable.
Yeah, and just not obsessing with that and just getting stuff out. And it's a very slow burner, like social stuff, especially like the YouTube for us. Like, it was such a slow burner, like incredibly slow. Like, you got to a point where, we had 2 videos. Well, not by the time we had 2. It's like when it was just Rob, and you even before I even had Rob, and I was paying freelance video guys all the time, which is expensive. And it got to a point, where I was spending 3, 4, 5 grand a month, just on people to create YouTube videos for us, but I wasn't getting any jobs off it.
Yeah,
and I was like putting all this content out. And it wasn't making a single bit.
Meanwhile, Instagram's performing for you, but you stuck with it. Though.
It's doing nothing. And if I wanted to get really obsessed on the whole vanity metric side of things, like, we've got like 4,500 subs, but not even that on YouTube. Like, and I've got a 100 grand wage bill on media guys, plus all the kit that I buy. And if I obsessed and cared that we've only got 400, would I like more? Yes, of course I would like more, but I will be lying if I said I wouldn't, because it upsets me the amount of effort / money we put into that. I've got far enough, please. But doesn't matter. And it literally like doesn't matter at all because now, and coming back onto being a slow burner, we had nothing ever from it.
Yes.
And then now every single phone call I have is saw this on Instagram, saw this on YouTube, saw this on YouTube. I've got on YouTube and I've watched every single video. And now it's worth its weight in
I'm
gold.
jealous of what we've YouTube is what we've not done. What I have not done well at all. And that's one of the things for 2022 is to get that sorted because you weren't talking about YouTube at all. We talk about social media. You only started talking about YouTube 6 months ago, and now it's become a huge part of your business. And I'm so far behind on that.
Yeah, but it doesn't really matter because what I'd say is, like what you're doing very well, and this is what I say to people in the training is, yes, if you can't manage 5 platforms, do 5 platforms, do one very well.
Absolutely. Rather, don't do 5 badly.
Don't do 5 badly, do one very well. You've absolutely nailed LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah.
They are nailed. Instagram, mate, completed it.
Came over.
But it is. And you've got it to a nice place. It's growing,
Thank you.
Not that I want to say, well, it doesn't need thought, because of course it needs thought, but the thought becomes more natural.
Yes, it does.
And it's just kind of test and tweak.
Well,
Some content will flop.
Yeah.
Some will absolutely blow up. And fortunately, sometimes there's no science behind it. There is
really
no formula.
No. We'll have a great photo shoot, the most beautiful photograph I've ever posted. And if it just doesn't resonate at the time, and obviously you know how the algorithms work, but it doesn't get enough people liking it early on, then it's just doomed to fail.
We'll sometimes put some incredible stuff out. It gets like 40 likes. I'm like, is that a fucking joke? Really?
Yeah.
40 likes. 40 likes. That is absolute fire.
Yeah. It's like, it shows you that your focus group of one is not, like, you can't decide if something's going to be good enough.
Yeah.
Our most recent one, we started working with Princess Yachts, and we get chosen as a standard product on a particular boat.
Slip that in there.
I'll drop it just for the audience. But that we managed to take one of their drone shots of the yacht doing a turn, and that it just exploded for us. And it should have been good.
Speaker in it.
Oh no, there's no speaker.
That's what I mean.
Exactly. Yeah, no speaker in sight. And I couldn't even at that point I couldn't even get a picture of the speakers in the boat, but it didn't matter. Again, it's a bit like the lifestyle thing. For us, that was like a milestone. Accident. It was a Saturday morning. I posted it on LinkedIn, and my entire weekend was just dealing with comments and likes, and you just cannot predict what's going to happen.
And that's what you just said there. You were dealing with comments and likes and stuff. You still are very hands on with it, and that is also why you do so well with it. Because like when I see people paying marketing agencies or doing stuff or just hiring somebody to do it doesn't necessarily work.
Just you know it yourself. You hear the stories. There has to be the person who's doing that, because that is your entire marketing. That's how you're portrayed outside of your office. It needs to be somebody who really, really cares about it, and you can't pay someone to do that. It doesn't.
Well, I used to think that because I was always very stubborn on how I do the social. I'm doing all my socials, but like obviously with everything we've got going on, it then become very hard for me to juggle both.
Yeah.
So we actually brought Craig in. Shout out Craig. But now Craig basically started, and then he was like, "Oh, so do you want me to put some posts up?" No.
How dare you?
I actually think when Craig started for me, it was literally, I don't know, 3 to 6 months or something before I actually did his first post. I says, you need to understand what I'm doing with it first.
Yes.
And literally, yes, I've hired you to do socials, but just watch me do the socials for a minute.
Eventually you'll get there.
And he was like, I've brought you to do a job, but I can't actually do the job. But like now, he bloody nails it.
I mean, hats off that you've done it though, because the only way you can continue to grow at this level is by, obviously you can't continue to do it forever, but I'm not.
Yeah, I still do all our messages. So I still, if somebody messages, 99 times out of 100, it will be me that replies across all platforms. I still do put some posts out, more of a bonus post, and me and Craig will discuss a lot of the posts before they go out. Or even if he just sends me WhatsApp, this sound is all correct, technically correct, and puts it out. But
and you'll learn the way. But it's tough to let go of that.
But that's why I've done well on it. But more importantly, why you've done well on it, because it's you with a finger on the pulse. It's you that's gauging it.
Yeah, and you spend. So we obviously brought a bunch of staff on over the last few years, and the one thing we didn't hand over was that. And it's evolving. You're constantly trying to learn. But it's been but it's good fun as well. You can't yourself. That's
literally I couldn't got to the point. It was like obsessive with it.
I'd put timers on saying you've been on for an hour, you've been on for 2 hours. You have to
just get lost, don't you?
Yeah.
But you do get help with content.
Yes.
Because I said it before.
Yep.
All your content is super slick, super sexy, like proper photo shoots.
Yeah, it's trying to keep, so like I said earlier, you have the main posts from the brand, and my opinion was there's no reason why that can't be the best in the industry. Really, it's a bit of effort and a bit of creativity. So we work with Daniel Odum of Odum Brothers, and he works with us. It kind of varies from 1 to 2 days a week, and he's got a team of guys. And some of the stuff I'm involved in, I'm directing stuff, or not. I'm giving myself too much. Not directing. I'm not directing. I'm not directing anything.
Well, I'll go get my director's chair out because I was talking with media lads. Because you say you're not a director and you're not a media guy. They are the professionals, but you know what you're trying to do with it.
That's the thing.
And one of these jokes one day I was like, you're not a director. Straight on Amazon, director's chair and clapperboard. They turned up next day and these are like, fuck off.
I've not used the clapperboard yet, but yeah. So we brought Daniel and the guys on, and now it's at a point from a kind of from the product point of view, we can send stuff over and just give a little bit of a steer, and then we were able to looking at people doing podcasts, and the podcast thing. I quite enjoyed being on a podcast. I quite enjoyed the interview process. And you don't ever get used to it. It's like you talk about musicians going on stage. If you're not nervous, then you should be out. So it is nerve-wracking, but it's quite good fun. But that brings us on to the Gallo on the Road series.
Gallo on the Road.
Yeah, which is just, that's been great. Because I was listening to a marketing person, and they were talking about obviously creating your own kind of ecosystem, how you do that. And like you have, we've done it to a degree. We've done it on Instagram, we've done it on LinkedIn and Facebook, probably to a lesser degree. But the next level is podcasting or videos. How do we build our community around that? And the Gallo on the Road thing's been great because, again, like everything we do, we're not selling. We're not pitching to new customers. We are just
showing what you do.
Yeah.
Then that's show what you do.
Like what we're doing here. Like, this is fun for you to speak to another brand about their business. This is, and I totally get that because that's exactly what Gallo on the Road is. We'll go out, and it'll either be, we've got a new series coming. So it was the first season was six episodes. And we're now putting the plans together for a kind of London, trying to do 4 or 5 episodes in London. And it's about the installer. And we'll end up going to residential installs where there's only 2 Gallos in the whole house. It's not about the Gallo.
Yeah.
It's about, and the installers, bless them, they're constantly trying to bring the conversation round to why Gallo works for them. And it's not that, because our audience want to hear from other people. And you know that. That's why we're doing this. You want to shake things up and have some variety. So the Gallo on the Road, we're either going out to their installations or we're going to their showrooms, and it's all about them. And that for me, that's the most interesting thing we do. It's great.
Yeah, and that's again back to your take, but that's a nice little give back to your installers. That's kind of what we're doing with the manufacturer of the podcast. It's kind of this isn't about me. Yeah, this is I want to put you on a pedestal. Yeah, shout about how great you are. Yeah.
And everybody wins. So I'll get content from this, the photographs and the videos. I'll use this, and we'll use this as a company. And it's the same with Gallo on the Road. We're taking loads of stills of the showroom of every other speaker brand. Couldn't care less. We'll give them free products free images of our competitors. Yeah. And they're grateful, and they're thanking us, but it feels wrong because the whole premise is this is to create the larger Gallo ecosystem. It's just it's a 50-50 total win-win.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of try and do all the time. And it's when you're not looking to create things one-sided. Like it's not just take. It's like, I want to help you. Yeah. Because I know helping you is going to help me.
Yes.
And that's kind of how I try to live my whole life, really, is by helping others. Yeah. You're not going to win instantly off it. That's not like I'm going to help you and something amazing is going to happen tomorrow.
It's what you always. It's what you've always been for us. You were always that. You were always looking for something. I'm not looking for anything for free. I'm not looking.
Yeah. It's like even when we did all the training stuff, you're like, I'll sort speakers out. I'm like, no, I want to pay for them because I don't ever want to be with like the suppliers we work with, or we never. And I don't think you will have never said to you, oh, is that your best price? Is that
no?
Is that, can you do it cheaper? I want to be a person that manufacturers want to work. I don't want it to be Rich from Outsmart.
I'm looking for a deal.
I don't want it to be hi Rich, because it's going to be something good for us both. And
it was like it was because it was unexpected, given how much content you were creating that we were then using. And I mean, we in the early days, the followers we were getting from your posts, and you weren't looking for anything. So the phone would ring, and I think, well, you'll be not looking for a deal, because it's a game of patience as well. It all
long
comes
game.
around.
Everything's the long game.
Yeah.
Wicked. So That's the socials. We've covered the products.
Yep.
What about the man behind it all? So
One of
we're not going.
one of the men.
Yeah, one of the men behind it all. But you're the driving force.
Yes,
you obviously sit on a series of directors.
Yeah, so there's three of us that own the business, and I'm like a restaurant. I'm front of house, so I take all the credit for everyone else's work. Which is quite nice. But I also take the slack when something goes wrong. So there's a group of us, and everyone's got their own little tasks. And as I say, I end up being the face of it because I'm happy to be so, and it worked so far, kind of worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide. I'm the face of it worldwide.
Is that my helicopter? Or is it yours?
Oh, could have gone out if we had time. If you really throw me off there. So you've done that, and like more recently, using that personal brand.
Yeah, so the personal brand thing is interesting. I find it much harder actually.
Yeah, because it's easy to hide behind the product, but that's putting you in the limelight. Yeah,
and I'm doing all the stuff I'm doing on personal. Say Instagram is the more relaxed one. It's all business related because that's what I think. I don't have any desire to kind of publish my personal life. I'm married with kids, and we have a lovely life. I've got no really desire to push that. So my personal Instagram just allows me to be a bit more relaxed.
Behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes. Exactly. And it's really good fun. And people obviously, they feel much more linked to you than, because people don't know that I'll be the guy like you that answers the corporate.
People realize on the main account that's you.
I'll get messages. I got one earlier in the week saying, could you send this over to your media team? Like, yeah.
Yep. He's got it.
So that's again, it's flattering. You have a media team, but for us, it's me typically on the other end of the messages. So it's just having that flexibility and being able to tell the story as well. Because we'll have a lot of end clients on there, or a lot of. So there'll be the customers that you've brought on who've now got their full Gallo system done by Arthur Smart, who follow us. And they're not particularly interested in how the Gallo business is, so we can put that off to the side and use LinkedIn personal or Instagram personal as well.
Do that, And I think probably both of us, not just myself, not just you, but there's thanks. Cam's going to hate this because Cam absolutely hates him, but like now, not so much so now. I actually very rarely will actually watch other people's content these days. Like sometimes if I'm just having a quick break or 5 minutes, I might just scroll through Instagram, but generally I don't watch content, don't watch other stuff. I mean, on a personal account, I don't really follow anybody. I follow people that inspire me and quote pages. That's not my personal Instagram.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, you're one of very few people that is allowed on my personal Instagram. But obviously Gary V. Like in the early days, and I know you're V and friends. You're top Gary V fan club boy. But like in the early days, like I owe a lot of what I do to Gary.
Completely.
Because following his, and there's a thing, what he said, and I actually recorded it. I've got my phone. I'll show you it later, Cam. You love Gary V, don't you? But like I don't so much watch his stuff now. In fact, I'll give Cam this one. Certain things he does now annoy me. This is going to annoy you even more because you're on board with him, but NFTs. I'm not going down NFTs. I'm not turning this podcast into NFTs.
That's a whole other,
But that whole side of things, I'm not into it. So I'm just like, every single post he does now is NFT. Yes. I was like, not for me.
But we were, I think I found him from one of your posts originally, very, very early on.
So you actually, so basically, Gallo's now got 4 directors.
Have some shares. But it resonated immediately, and it was somebody, because I was listening to. I've got a 45-minute commute each way, so I've got time in the car to listen to content, and it was inspirational, and it was a confidence builder about not being like we're talking about the posts that only get 3 likes and being able to go over that, some people can't. I took a lot from the Gary V stuff in the early days because it's a lot of sense.
Yeah, there's a main one which I might get on my phone. I'll give it to Cam to put into the video, but basically he said, if you're not putting out content, he literally got his phone out. It's like, if you're not putting out content onto this device, onto the apps that people are using, at least 5 apps, posting at least 25 pieces of content a week, you are irrelevant.
Yeah.
Your business may as well be dead.
Yeah, because that's the only place you're being seen.
And that literally stuck.
Yeah,
And that's
likewise.
what we did. And only recently, 6 months ago, so I've been 4.5 years old, we had a website, but it was just a landing page, really. It wasn't really a website. We got a website for different reasons now. But apart from that, everything's been social.
Yeah.
And it is just putting out content.
Yeah.
You're not going to get, it's like fishing. You're not going to get a bite every time.
Yeah.
In fact, you're not going to get a bite 100 times.
But you've got to
and then you'll get one bite.
But you've got to be fishing.
Yeah.
You've got to be there on the water side or it won't happen. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'd be driving to work, listening to these podcasts and writing or doing like Siri notes to myself, put it on LinkedIn, do personal LinkedIn, and it worked, just worked. So you can't take anything away from that. It's been a huge part of what we've done.
Yeah. No, awesome. Well, what have we got coming up to close then? So what we mentioned, the range of lights potentially.
Yeah. So range of lights, which is we're flat out on that at the moment. We also have new speakers coming as well.
New speakers,
which I can't talk about at the moment. Can't tell you anything, but it's coming. It's coming. So we've got a few things in development at the moment, and just keep doing what we're doing. We're going to do, as I say, the new Gallo on the road. But I want to get into some more residential properties and show our community what's happened once they've gone in. I know that's difficult because a lot of clients will have non-disclosure agreements to keep doing what we're doing. But now is a point where we want to start adding to the range now. And we're being asked, you know yourself, we've got a load of distributors around the world who, if enough of them ask the same question, then they must be right. So it's the right products at the right time to kind of slot into what we're doing.
With the right content.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Colin.
Thank
you. It's been
you.
an absolute pleasure. I mean, we do chat quite a bit anyway, but to get to sit down with you today and actually chat properly about it. I mean, we've had times on phone before. We've been on for an hour just about all sorts, but to sit down, get to know about Gallo a bit more, get to know about you a bit more has been absolutely great.
And so congratulations on this setup. This is amazing. Yeah. Proper podcast studio.
It is. And it's a mobile podcast studio. Well, that's down to media lads and not me. I just fund it.
We'll bring up the Gallo HQ next time, and we'll once we've renovated and got all the showroom as we want it, we'll do another one from there.
I've got a feeling. I said with a podcast kind of thing with us, I think forget all the YouTube videos, forget all the Instagram stuff. I think this and the way it'll go will actually become our highest performing content.
Yes.
Because the way, especially that we're doing it with where it's video overlaid or when we're doing factory tours, all the rest of that kind of stuff. Because we're celebrating there's a lot of great UK manufacturers and literally we're doing like some of them are like how it's made style videos.
Yeah,
You know, even that things like slide on numbers, you'll see us using the lighting panels.
Yes.
And going and literally seeing a 25 metre long production line where it goes in as raw pellets and comes out as bagged product.
Yeah.
Sad, but people love it.
I love it. Like the Discovery Channel for our industry.
How it's made. That's literally what I like it all the time, how it's made. But anyway, absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much.
I'm honoured
to be here, so thank you.
Cheers, my friend.